Hi everybody, it's Raina. It finally happened. After 2 years of running from it, I caught the Rona. So I'm wearing a mask for this video. I'm probably gonna cough and you're gonna hear my voice is not great. Before we get into the whole story, I'd like to ask that you please like and subscribe. Click the bell if you want to get notified. Check us out on patreon.com/RainaMermaid. And please remember to join me in my fan group, Raina the Mermaid Sea Fans. I post lots of fun updates there and I'd love to have you. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I know we've got a few new ones since the last video. So, Rona. I have been running from Corona for a while. I am immune compromised. I have multiple chronic illnesses. I'm on lots of medication. For a good portion of it, I was high risk pregnant and then I had a newborn. So how did I finally catch it? Prior to this, Sean and I had been very keeping to ourselves because of my situation and because of the baby. We always mask, and we have different types of masks that we use in different scenarios. So right now I'm wearing a 3-ply surgical mask. I also have my fabric masks from Mertailor, and often what I would do is I would actually double them up. And we also have N95 masks, which are considered the gold standard for protecting against viruses because they get such a nice tight fit around your face. With this one, you can kind of see as I talk, the nose comes down a bit, air comes out the sides a little bit. For what I'm doing right now in my home, I'm distancing from my boys. I'm not getting close to them. This is fine. It's just really to keep my coughs in because though I'm positive, my boys are not positive. So that is a good example of how when you do these things properly, you can keep other people from getting sick. I do have all 3 vaccines, the 2 big ones and the booster. The vaccines, I know people get all controversial about vaccines. I'm very pro-vaccine because I've always had health issues. I've always had to think about vaccines. I've always had to get them in order to protect my health. I knew that it was no guarantee that I wouldn't get COVID, but in hoping that it would keep me out of the hospital, that is why I got them, and it did the job. Today is day 6, I think, of being sick. And today I just have mild, it's like a cold. It's annoying. I have a headache. I have a sore throat. I have a cough. I have a little bit in my chest, a little running nose. I'm tired. I've got body aches. That being said, the days leading up to this were horrible. I was bedridden. I was having trouble breathing in my bed. I'd wake up a couple times at night with pain in my chest and my back. Head-splitting headaches, also tinnitus in my ears. That often happens to me when I get sick, so that was really bad, especially in my right ear. Of course, the big thing is like I can't care for River, which means that Sean is on single dad duty for a while. I'm still allowed to breastfeed him, but I have to double mask up, make sure I'm clean, make sure the environment I'm feeding him in is clean, and then give him back to his dad. That's been the hardest of the whole thing. The hardest of this has been not being around River all the time. It's very hard on my heart. It's a miracle that I'm not super sick and in the hospital because, you know, this has been a boogeyman over my head for the longest time. I've been very scared of catching COVID. People say don't live in fear, but that's, you know, healthy people get to say don't live in fear. When you are immune compromised, you live in fear. It's not a choice, okay? So that just is what it is. I caught it at a gig, and I'm gonna get into a little bit of details about that. We're gonna do a couple videos about this gig. We're also gonna have some videos on the Mermaid family channel. In Nova Scotia, we are getting ready to drop all mandates. So currently, you no longer need proof of vaccine for most things. We're about to drop masks. We dropped physical distancing. We dropped gathering limits. I don't necessarily agree with that. You may feel differently. For me, the idea of living with COVID does not mean going back to normal. There is no normal. Things are never going to be normal. But I know that we need to move forward. We can't let COVID run our lives. That being said, I feel like the government is rushing to get rid of these things to kind of please people, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right choice. Some people say, oh, we're all going to get it anyway, but to me that's very ableist towards people who are vulnerable. People say things like, well, some people are going to die. Well, who are the people that are going to die? Disabled people, elderly people, maybe young children. There's been young children here in the ICU. People with underlying conditions. Why do we get to be offered up as like some sacrificial lamb? Like, why does our life not have merit? And I've heard the argument, well, I want to get back to my normal life. You can just stay home all the time. I don't like being restricted, so therefore you get all the restrictions. That doesn't seem fair to me either. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I just know that I think we're gonna end up going backwards. Omicron is so contagious, and we don't know the long-term damage that COVID can cause. That's one of the things I'm nervous of, because my endometriosis has gotten worse over the years. My interstitial cystitis has gotten worse over the years. And before I even had COVID symptoms, the first symptoms I got when I got sick with this is those diseases flared up. I woke up in the middle of the night with endo pain, and I knew something was wrong. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that I don't necessarily agree with getting rid of all restrictions. Now, for a person who doesn't want to get rid of restrictions, just hear me out. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I feel a lot of pressure, and I felt pressure to take this gig because life is getting back to normal. And when I was bouncing back and forth with the venue and everything, when they first approached me, we still had all these restrictions in place. And so I felt, okay, I can keep myself safe. I'll take my mask off in the pool, but you know, they're gonna be contact tracing, they're gonna have small groups and sign up, there's gonna be masks, there's gonna be distancing, you know, it's gonna be really no different than when I go on a Sunday to swim with my mermaids in the pool. And chlorine can kill COVID, and COVID doesn't travel in the water. You can't get COVID underwater, obviously, but you can get it in the air and on the pool deck and everything. So when I agreed to do this gig, those were the things in place. And then by the time the gig came around, a lot of those things weren't in place anymore, and the event was relying on me. I'm traveling from another province because they're struggling to get performers for this event. And I have a peer who's doing it as well, and she's traveling from the same province as I am, and it's like a 6-hour drive to get there with the baby and all this stuff. We had to bring our baby because nobody else was available to do this. So I'm like, okay, I'm a big girl, I can keep myself safe, I can do this. And you know what? In the beginning, I was very happy. It was almost like a relief. It was really nice. I did feel back to normal. And I have not done a mermaid gig outside of my little influencer thing that I did where I was masked, but I haven't done a mermaid gig in over 2 years. I stopped when COVID started because our company was not legally allowed to operate during all the shutdowns. Then, when we were allowed to operate, I was too sick with my pregnancy. I was too at risk, so I didn't do gigs. And now I'm trying to make these decisions for myself, keeping my family safe, doing what I think I need to do to keep my business going. But then there's all this pressure. So everyone is just kind of chill and going with the flow, and it's very easy to let your guard down in those situations. So I get there. It's really nice to be in a hotel. It's a gorgeous hotel, and I don't hold the event responsible for this. They did what was required of them, so no hard feelings to them. I'm a big girl. I make my decisions, right? Lovely staff, lovely place. We get to the pool, very first day, very small group, and I'll do another video in depth about the gig because it's a very interesting gig. We've got great video, and I want to tell you all about it. First day, small group. Really sweet kids, doing my mermaid thing. You're not gonna wear a mask in the pool, but maybe I should have on the pool deck or something. I've got this little girl, she's having trouble swimming. We've all been there as mermaids. You see, this is why you gotta wear an N95. I keep picking it up. I go and I help this little girl swim. I get her to the side, and she goes, oh, that was so fun, and I'm, oh, good job being brave, and I do fish bump with them, okay? So it's like a fist bump, but then you turn it into a fish. Dr. Sylvia Earle taught me that. So fish bump, I do that, love it. So I taught her that, we did it. Then she goes, I had so much fun. I've been really sick. And I was, you're sick? Sick. I've been really sick. I was so sick. I was sick really bad. Oh no. And she's 3 years old, so I'm trying to talk myself down. I'm thinking, oh, it could have been anything. She's not sick now. I hope she's not sick now. We're in the chlorine. We're fine. This is my first day there, okay? I'm pretty sure this is where I caught it from, because I isolated before this event. Sean and I and River did not go anywhere else. Even when we're in the car and just going into the gas station to use the bathroom or whatever, we're wearing masks, we're sanitizing, the whole 9 yards. This is the first time I've been anywhere without a mask, and I'm actively around other people's children. So even if it wasn't her, the next day I'm in the pool. I am seeing kids with cold sores, like open cold sores on their face, snot running down their nose, what I suspect is pink eye, all kinds of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I know that parents are desperate for their kids to have some normalcy and some fun. But even if your kid doesn't have COVID, if you or your child have an infectious symptom, do not go in a pool. Do not take them to a public place. It shouldn't have to be as bad as a pandemic for people to think about the health of other people, because this would happen to me all the time when I worked mermaid gigs before the pandemic was a thing. People would still send their kids sick. You're in a cold, wet environment on those pool decks and in those changing rooms. Viruses and infections can thrive. I've picked up parasites before. Like, it's been bad, right? So I feel like people are so desperate to get some fun and entertainment that, okay, as long as it's not COVID, it's going out the window. We're just still going to keep going. So I was finding it really hard because I need to be professional. I'm already there. It's 6 hours away. It's not the kids' fault. So what do? I'm professional and I do the best I can and I hope for the best. But this has given me pause for how I want to do things in the future with my company, given that there's a pandemic, but also in general. I think I need to come up with a communicable disease policy. I have one for my staff. My staff are not allowed to work if they have signs of a contagious disease. They have to be symptom-free for a certain amount of time, or fever-free, or on antibiotics for a certain amount of time. It's very similar to working in daycare or school. So I think what we're gonna do, and I feel like we're gonna get pushback, and it's gonna be hard because people are gonna be like, oh, well, there's no more COVID rules. And I'm gonna have to be, well, no, you are just meeting us, but we are going from family to family to family to pool to venue, and we have a higher chance of spreading things. So I need to put some things in place that are going to help us. So I'm going to leave it up to my team to use their discretion if they feel they need to wear a mask during indoor events and events where they're not directly in the pool. So if they're up on the pool deck and they're getting pictures, if they want to wear a mask, they can. I'm also going to let clients know that you might not get the mermaid you hired for. A lot of people get really picky and they want a specific mermaid, and during a pandemic, we can't guarantee that. You've got Mermaid Nova, but then 24 hours before she's sick, so now you've got Mermaid Atlantica, and that's just what we're doing because we're not sending a sick mermaid, okay? So that's going to be another thing. And I think I'm also going to impress upon clients, now there's no guarantee that they will do this, but at least if we impress it on them, they might, that they have to encourage that participants have to be healthy. They have to be healthy. And I do take deposits for my parties, but I'm going to be a bit more flexible and be like, look, if you have to cancel due to sickness, I will work with you to reschedule. We have a big enough team now that we can do stuff like that, okay? So hopefully that's something we can do. So this is we're learning as we go. This is a brand new thing. There's no playbook on how to run your mermaid business during a pandemic. I do have a lot of mom guilt about exposing River to stuff like this. And I do have I feel like a hypocrite because I went against what I believe in order to do this gig. But it wasn't so much that I was, I'm going to throw what I believe out the window. It was, I felt pressure, and I'm also trying to be hopeful. I'm thinking, okay, we're doing all the things, so maybe it will be okay. But look, guys, Omicron is freaking infectious. Yes, I'm not in the hospital, but I would have preferred to have not spent the past week super sick. I have so many appointments I have to get to, things I need to get done. I had to spend days in bed asleep. Sean had to take that time from his job to spend all day with our son, and he's trying to juggle work and take care of our son. I'm missing out on that bonding time with my son. I breastfeed, and it made my milk supply drop, and River has always been somewhat underweight, so feeding him is really important. And he won't take a bottle right now, so that's a difficult thing as well. I'm not in the hospital, but I don't like being sick. I feel like, it's a crazy thing to tolerate. So at the end of the day, we did have a very good event. I don't believe I was contagious until I got home, because I did test when I got home and I was negative, and then I was negative, and then I was positive. River and Sean have been testing daily and they're negative, so that's fantastic. It's very stressful trying to manage the baby without getting him sick, but I'm almost out of that isolation window, so once my symptoms go away, and it's been a few days, I should be okay. A couple other things you might have noticed about me. I chopped my hair off. It looked gorgeous until I did this gig, but I've been in the pool so much that it took all the color out of it, and I've been too sick to re-dye it. So I will be dyeing it again, but you can see some of the pictures. It looked really beautiful when I got it done. I did that because I'm finding it very difficult as a mother to manage the long hair. I get night sweats because of the hormones, and it was getting great up mats in my hair. Mermaid gigs, just swimming in the pool and training, it was getting a lot to manage my hair. Oh my gosh, it's so much easier in the pool with the short hair. I can just throw a wig on. The wigs stay on better because they're not trying to fit around a big pile of hair. So that's been really great. It's really easy to maintain it when I get out, and I can put some Olaplex on it and everything. I really, really like it. I'm gonna stay with the pink for now. I might try blonde. We'll see what happens. I'm also wearing a pair of goggles on my head, and I will be doing a review video once I get a chance to be healthy and test them. But these are actually the fin pieces that you can add. So they're really cool. You can put these on any pair of goggles, as long as they're like goggles, not like a face mask, because they have to go around this part. Oh, Sean did this for me. Here we go. Check that out. Oh, it's in here. So it's really cool. This clips around, and it's got a little clip here on the back, and you can actually put them on your ears as well, which I might do. I put them on River. It was so adorable. I really like them. I'm gonna experiment with a couple different pairs of goggles so that I can give you a good review on them, but it's just gonna have to wait until I'm better. With Halifax Mermaids, we're also auditioning some new mermaids so that we have enough people to cover summer gigs. We're looking at the possibility of buying a tank. I'll do a video on that once I know a bit more. We do have the small tank, but this would be a big custom tank, which would be really nice. Yeah, we're just trying to get back into the routine, but Mama's sick. Mama's gonna get through this first, but I wanted to do this little update video. I feel like a lot of shame goes with having COVID, and also a lot of fear. I just wanted to share my experience to sort of normalize it, because unfortunately I think truly mostly all of us are gonna get it if we haven't already, because it's just so highly contagious in this variant. And think of that what you will, but my friends, I just want you to be safe and healthy in whatever way is best for you. So proceed with caution. We're hoping that we might be able to make it to the California Mermaid Con. Of course, that depends on gas prices. And speaking of gas prices, I just want to send all my love to people caught up in the Russia versus Ukraine stuff that's going on right now. We have an extended family member who is Ukrainian, and my cousin is on the Ukraine border right now, so we're very aware of everything that's going on. And I know this has nothing to do with mermaids, but come on, it's real life, it's the world, it's a war, and it's terrifying and it's heartbreaking, and just all my love. Please consider donating to UNICEF or the Red Cross or the various charities out there that are helping. I did a donation to the Red Cross because in Canada they're matching it. And just all my love to anybody who's impacted by that. In the grand scheme of things, when you see things like that happening around the world, me having to deal with, you know, a medium case of COVID, it's not the end of the world, right? It could be much worse. So I'm just gonna try to be positive and get through this. My updates might be a little slow for a while. We do have a ton of new content we want to share with you. So many great things. Sean got me this new gimbal. Check this out, for putting my phone on. He made this whole rig for me so that I could do more vlogging type stuff and keep it steady cam. So I'm really excited. I used that a bit on the trip, and I'm gonna try to use it a bit more. We have to sanitize that now because I just touched it. Oh man, it's gonna be fun to clean this place. Anyway, best fishes. Don't forget, you can use my code Raina10 on Mertailor products and Slippins products, and now you can use it on Goggles products to get 10% off most things. You have to go right to their official websites and put it in your cart in order to get those discount codes, not on Etsy or secondhand sellers or anything like that. Doesn't work on silicone on Mertailor, but works on everything else. I hear you about the reviews for the guppies. They're coming. I think we just haven't had a chance to edit everything up, but it'll be there. Best fishes, and stay healthy. Peace to everybody. Love ya. Okay, Shawnee. I don't want to touch the camera because I've been coughing. I turn it off?